How many jungle-themed movies had Dwayne Johnson made these past, let's say, 3 years? I mean, is that his main thing now? Hello brothers and sisters, my name is Daidarius and welcome to Jumanji, The Next Level. So Jumanji, The Next Level is the sequel to the reboot Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle that came out 2 years ago. Fun fact, I have actually reviewed this movie. Fortunately, that review is on my Danish channel, so if you don't understand Danish, well, sorry. Nevertheless, we are here with the second one. And the plot in this movie is some, should I say, unnecessary, but nevertheless, here's the plot in this movie. Our 4 friends from the former movie has kind of gone on with their lives, and now they're trying to meet up in time for Christmas. Unfortunately, Spencer doesn't really feel like he is as cool as he should be compared to all his friends, so he goes back into the game to try and relive this humongous strength that Dwayne Johnson's character had, so he can feel like an awesome person. The rest of the gang find this out and they now try to go into the game to try and save him, because as you know, if you die in the game, you die in real life. So that makes Spencer's whole thing kind of suicidal, or at least stupid. And you would thought that would be it, but unfortunately, Spencer's granddad and his former friend get also sucked into the game. So now there are multiple characters in there in different avatars. So that is the, let's say, the funny side of the story this time around. And as before, they need to try and find a crystal to put it into a certain place. Shout Jumanji! And that will be the game. Unfortunately, it's not the same level as the last time, so they are pretty screwed considering that they don't know what to do. And also they need to find Spencer before he gets himself killed. So that is very basically, very vaguely, this movie's plot summed up. So what did I like about this movie? First of all, the humor, because the humor is pretty much the only thing this movie has going forward. However, that is also pretty much the only thing the former movie has going forward. So, well, what are you gonna do? The humor in this movie is what you expect. It is Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson playing old men, and that is pretty much the main part of the humor in this movie. However, it does work out in most places, but also get tiresome in other places. And some jokes do get overplayed, unfortunately. But I will say that the humor, for the most part, is very decent in this movie, and it actually made me laugh out loud a couple of times. However, it should be stated that often when you are in a cinema, that can have an effect on you, on how you react to a movie, so keep that in mind. Also, the acting in these movies are fine. I mean, the main actors are kind of overplaying it at this point for comedic effects. I mean, Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, again, not the best actors in the world. I mean, has Dwayne Johnson ever acted more than just decent in any movie ever? No, I don't think so. But they're kind of overacting the few character traits you get introduced to in the beginning of this movie, just so you know that these are the characters trapped in these avatars. And the same go for the rest of the cast. However, I will say that the best actor and the most funny actor in this movie is still Jack Black. He now managed to play 3 characters in this movie, and he plays all of them not just wonderfully, but also very, very funny, but without it being over the top. Also, visually, this movie is decent. I mean, there's nothing that really pops out, and it doesn't really seem like this is a big blockbuster movie, even though I'm pretty sure the budget tells otherwise. The CGI department is not as interesting and well done that it kind of justifies the price tag, but whatever. If nothing else, there are a few scenes that are, let's say, nice to look at. And the movie also has a fine message, not for the main 4, but for the two older men. That's actually a good message with their character arcs. I was actually more invested in their character journey than the rest of them, because we have already seen it, and it is kind of just rehearsing what we already know from the former movie. Now, with that being said, this movie is just dumb entertainment. I mean, if you didn't appreciate the first one, you're not going to appreciate this one. And I talk about not appreciating things. Let's just jump into what I didn't appreciate about this movie. First of all, the rehearsing of a lot of the comedy is just sad. I mean, there's a lot of comedic potential in this movie, but it just gets too much at some points. They're just trying to rehearse jokes over and over and over again. And it just irritates me considering how well the first one was constructed comedic-wise. I mean, again, not a comedic masterpiece, but still, it felt more funny than this one. Second of all is the plot. The plot is 100% the same as the first one. And I'm not kidding, because in the first one, they met Alex, who was played by Tom Hanks' son, and also the Jonas brother. I can't remember what his name is. He has been in there for some time, and now with him, they need to take this jewel from the bad guy and shout Jumanji and get out of there. This movie is exactly the same. They need to get the jewel from the bad guy, shout Jumanji and get out of the game. And also there is this character who's been in the game longer than the others. So now new and interesting happens in this movie's plot. And also they're trying to redo the love story, I guess, which is just half-assed, and we don't really care about that love story at all. And the bad guy, again, you have a great actor playing the bad guy, and you're just gonna throw him to the side and not focusing on him at all at any time. So the bad guy is just there. He's just there to do nothing. And I understand this is a game, but seriously, a good game has a good bad guy. But this game has a dude who's just there with his beard and his shiny fucking rock, and that is it. You don't get anything else out of him. He's just there. And that's the mission that needs to do in each level. You don't really care about them because they're just so flat and boring. You don't give a shit. You really don't give a shit. And just the suspension of disbelief you have to do to actually accept that this movie's plot can happen is just no. There are a lot of ways they could be dragged back into the game, but this one just is what I will call lazy writing. And just unfortunately, a lot of this movie is just oozing with lazy writing. But not just lazy writing, but also unutilized potential, rehearsed plot points and story points and character arcs or journeys, uninteresting levels they have to go through. A MacGuffin that is introduced, forgotten for the most of the movie, and then introduced again so you don't really feel anything. The final fight is just, it's fucking boring! And again, I know these are just games they're playing, but you could at least have made it interesting, but they don't. So what you get with this movie is you get a simple movie with some simple comedy that will make you laugh, don't worry, but it is very, very simple. Overacted characters for the most part, a rehearsal of the old plot, an unused bad guy, some good potential that is never really utilized, some decent visuals, and just an easy movie to watch, but you won't really remember much from it. So I will say that Jumanji Next Level, you should catch it on Netflix. My experience. It might have sounded that I bashed a lot on this movie, and I mean, I kind of did, but you kind of have to hold it up to a standard considering this is a sequel and it needs a reason to exist. Besides the fact that, you know, studio wants more money. But since this movie really doesn't provide anything else than just cheap laugh and keep you entertained at the minimum value, then I have to call it out for this shit. So, Jumanji Next Level, have you seen? What did you think about it? And what did you think about the sequel bait at the end? And also, what is your favorite board game Jumanji thing movie? I mean, I'm pretty sure none of you is gonna pick this one or the former one, so let me put it in this way. Which one is the best? Jumanji or Zathura? I still think it's Jumanji, but again, it has Robin Williams. But Zathura is also quite an interesting movie, just saying. So, whatever you think, comment below me your thoughts. And as always, until I see you in the next video, remember to stay awesome. Bye! I think I actually try to play a game. Not a board game, because, you know, Jumanji, but just a normal game.